Hey, me again, obligatory jump scare because YouTube's doing the whole anti-AI slop filter thing at the start of videos. So there you go. All right, hello, welcome back everybody. PayPal, Patreon, YouTube Super buttons, whatever, it's all down below if you want to support me and do so if you actually can. So this is a quick water situation update in regards this time to Lake Mead, which has been undergoing total net loss of water level, water volume since the start of the 21st century and got down lower than it currently is before a few years ago, but was rescued by benefiting from a combined year of large amounts of snow melt and also from receiving some of the expanded Arizona monsoon rains that came up into its region. That combo bought it an extra 2 years, but now here we are at about the end of those extra 2 years, and you can see its water level is dropping pretty fast. It might look similar to recent years' drops around this time, but if you actually put your line over it and see the slope comparison when you draw it out to where it will end up, at least at the bottom of the page, then you see the clear and present difference. That being, if it continues dropping at this rate, then by the time it reaches the point where it normally starts to curve out and drop by less before eventually leveling out and hitting a recovery period of the year, it will probably get down into the mid, maybe even lower 1040s in terms of its water elevation level, as the U.S. lakes and reservoir system is measured in elevation feet. So that's not the depth of the lake, it's the elevation of the water surface currently above sea level. Lake Mead, if full, would be at about 1,227 elevation feet, and the key critical points are 950 elevation feet is around where the intakes for the turbines in Hoover Dam are. So when it gets close to there, it would have to shut down and stop generating electricity, and it generates about 2 gigawatts pretty consistently, which would be a fair chunk taken out of Las Vegas's power supply. And if it gets down to 890, then the Colorado River stops flowing. And the drop in level, if it continues doing so, will actually technically get faster the further down it goes, because remember, these reservoirs, especially out west, they're not rectangular swimming pools with even straight sides going down. They are flooded canyons, so they're sloped inwards. Thus, each foot you go down has less water volume than the foot above it did, which is why, despite only seeming to be halfway down, Lake Mead has lost between 2/3 and 3/4 of its total water volume, as most of the water volume was in that upper half. And along with Lake Powell, further upstream along the Colorado River, who is already down close to having to shut off power generation, the two of them, Lake Mead and Lake Powell, their purpose originally was actually to serve as excess backup water storage, to release excess water along the Colorado River, to make sure that the river flow and the river level downstream stayed high enough or stayed at an adequate enough level for the Colorado River aqueduct system to be able to intake water and pump it through a pipeline system over into California for California to use. So, as Lake Mead reaches potentially critical levels in the next couple of years, it's not just going to be a severe water supply issue, obviously, for Las Vegas, but also big chunks of especially Southern California, Los Angeles, etc., who gets who get that water piped over to them. Currently, as of recording this, it will probably be lower by the time you check it yourself. Lake Mead is down to around 1061 elevation feet in terms of its current level. And like I said, before it reaches that usual rounding point of the year where it starts to ease out and drop by less and less amounts until it levels out and then eventually hits a variable recovery phase, it looks like it will be dropping all the way down into the mid or lower 1040s. And even as it hits that curve out point, it will still be going down, so it will probably get down somewhere into the 1030s at least before totally leveling off for the year, if it is able to do so, and then entering the recovery period, which will likely not be that great of one because the amount of snow received in the Rocky Mountains this winter was not actually that much. And so the amount of runoff meltwater coming down into the river and thus flowing downstream into Lake Mead will not be anywhere near as large as it normally would. And so the primary recovery force would then be in later summer and into fall when the Arizona rain season starts and how much of that precipitation actually gets pushed northward and happens further upstream along the Colorado River, enough for it to flow down into Lake Mead. So that's the situation as it currently is and where it currently stands and the direction in which it is heading. And that will be it for this one. So thank you everybody for sticking around and listening. And like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already. There's hundreds of other videos on the channel across similar and different subjects. PayPal and Patreon links are down below if you want to support me. Only do so if you actually can. There's also a link in the description to a Drive folder full of all kinds of different graphs, oil and gas, energy, electricity, minerals and mining, etc. That's all free to access at any time. There's a link in the top pinned comment to my cat's YouTube channel. May God bless and protect all of you, and I will see you all around next time.